Welcome back to the Getting Dirty Off-Road channel. Today I'm going to mess around a little bit with this red 92 that I have. We'll get started with checking all the fluid levels. Okay, we're going to start out with the rear end. We'll take this plug right here out. Just the end of the extension here fits right in it. So we got the plug out there. It's simple to check. Just stick a pinky in it. I usually go stick it in there as I can, bend my pinky down. As long as there's oil on it, I'll call it good. So we'll just stick the plug back in it. Good and tight. Okay, I've moved up to the transfer case now. This bottom one is your drain. This upper one right here is where you check your level, where you would add. That one's obviously full. And they spit out of there like that on you, you know you got enough. Good and tight on that guy. We'll move up to the transmission now. Okay, on the transmission here, we got the same deal as the transfer case. Bottom one's your drain line, drain plug. This one right here is your fill plug. It takes a 3/8 Allen. Okay. Give it the pinky test. Pinky test says it needs some oil. For sure needs some oil. Yeah, we'll probably come back to that. I've had this one running, but the fuel pump's out of it. It's not licensed. It's been hanging around for way too many years, so I'm not going to stress out about it being low. I just know that it is now. And just like always, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to do it anyway. So let's go up under the hood and look around for some fluid. Okay, let's check out this brake fluid. She's a little bit low. Maybe not any in the front reservoir portion. We'll go ahead and find some for that, because that one I will forget. Not that I'm going to be needing it anytime soon, but I'm bored, so let's put some in it. Okay, found me some of the stuff I need. I don't know how long I've had it around here, so may not be any better than what's there, but here we go. Well, that looks better than it did. I'll keep an eye out for any dripsies. It's probably just because it's sat too long. Either way, it's full now. So that's it for our fluid checks. I'll check the radiator and the engine later. I've pretty well had those taken care of. I just wanted to slide underneath it, seeing as how I'm halfway in the shop today. Still a full mess outside, but I'm halfway in. So now the power steering fluid. Got it right here. It's all connected. The difference between this truck and the blue and silver truck is I do know that this one runs. Bad fuel pump didn't tell us how well it runs, but we dumped some juice in there and it does run. So step ahead of ourselves on the other one. Right there, we've got our fluid level in the power steering system. Looks good. So that's pretty much going to be all that I look at for today. Simple, silly, maybe even stupid, I don't know. But I'll bring you a couple more days of something or other. So stick with us. We're going to be messing around with this Red 92 a little bit and see where it goes. I do know that it runs, just not without feeding it. So maybe we'll get that taken care of and possibly even take a drive. This thing's been sitting here forever and I've never driven it. Not really sure if I want to, but you know, it's here. So let's do it. Hey there. Welcome to day 2 messing around with this Red 92. Today we're going to work on the hydraulic clutch system. The system that's in there gave up just out of the blue while it was sitting in the front yard. It pushed its guts out. So I got a new one. This system right here is what we're going to replace. So we'll get started with pulling the old one out. This is where the master cylinder lives, up here on the firewall. Just got 2 bolt Hooduses there. 13 millimeter, so we'll take this off. So we've got both the nuts off. Just slides away from the firewall. And then there's a rod in there, which actually pushes this piston, which makes it work. The kit come with a new rod, so we'll go inside and pull that off. Okay, so in here on the pedal, right there is where it attaches. So I'll probably just grab a screwdriver and smash it. So I don't really know any easier ways of doing it. Just a screwdriver and break it out of there. It's got a little plastic clip in the eyelet. Now on this side of it, it's got a C-clip style here. So I'll grab another screwdriver and I guess we'll just tap that. So I'll just work my little tapper in here and pop that C-clip off right there. Ooh, I got lucky. It snapped off and landed on my hand. take that mess out of the way. Then just reach back up in here and pull the rod out. And then that's the plastic clip that holds it onto the pedal, like I was saying. So usually breaks them, getting them out of there, so it broke 2 of the little clips off. Kit has a new one. It's probably best to use a new one with the new kits, so this one's done. Now my favorite part is how they snake them in here. It can be done, but you may learn a few new choice words. So from the master cylinder portion of it, loops down here underneath of your master cylinder, underneath the steering column there, goes along the back of the engine. Usually there's 2 clamps holding it on the back there. Those are friendly. And then it'll drop down this side and into your bell housing. So see what kind of fist fight this one's gonna give me. So it looks like my first clamp right here is just pushed on. So I've got my smash it out again. Got that off. Now let's see if I can get my super fit self up here and go along the back of the engine. So you guys won't be able to see very well, but if you've ever messed with these, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Right on the back, I've got 1 clamp right there. Got a nut holding it on to the bell housing bolt. And then inside of this super friendly spot is another clamp. So I'll grab myself a wrench, sit up here and wonder why I make bad choices, and then I'll return once I get underneath the truck. Okay, I've gone through the misery on the clamps that hold this line to the back of the engine. So now I'm down here where the slave cylinder is. Up through there's where the line goes. And I really should have done this while I had the engine out. I knew it needed it. But I like to do things the hard way, so put my floor sliders back on. I'll figure out how I'm gonna fish this up through there or down through from the top. Maybe I'll just cut this one and sacrifice it to the hydraulic clutch gods. I still have to figure out a path for the new one. Sealed unit, can't really take it apart. Yay. Okay, so there's the old one. Didn't really create too many big issues. Now, I was lucky because I don't have any exhaust in there yet. So I was able to use that space there and just fish it down through the bottom. Now is the trick of putting the new one in without destroying it. And I'm usually pretty good at destroying stuff, so hopefully this isn't one of those times. So I've come back up through the bottom there. Without the pipe in the way, it was a little bit easier. Then I had to pull a contortion act, get behind this little ground wire. Then I had to come through the loop of this heater hose so that I can get back behind it. Now I've got to get behind this wiring harness, across the back, underneath the throttle cables, back down, Over here I'll drop down. The old one was behind that white wire there. I don't know why, but I've got to get back underneath the steering column, behind the brake booster, and over here where it lives. So on the way I had to unplug the wires here on the brake whatevers. I had to pull the vacuum booster hose off. And that's about all that I actually had to take off to do it. Might be a little easier taking those throttle cables off, but we'll get her back in there. Okay, I've got it fished up into there. One other thing, when you take the old one off, there's kind of a cup right here. You have to get that knocked out of there. Otherwise, the master cylinder portion won't meet up with the firewall. Then when you put the rod in, it won't work. So, got to get that knocked out of the way. Right tool for the job. These are not. But it works. Smash on that a couple times. Get it to where it's loose, and then it'll just pull out of there. That's the old crap. The old crap doesn't work anymore, so it's gone. Now we can put our master cylinder back on there. Now it fits up against the firewall, good and snug, flush like it should be. I gotta remember where I put everything. Aha! Just set it over there, you know. It was just over there. Just tighten these up, and we'll crawl back under the truck and do the slave cylinder end of it. Okay, just tight. We don't want to get too much good on there. Don't feel like breaking that and doing it again. So while I was fishing it back up, in between, behind, around, intertwined, I had to crawl under here about 37 times. So one of those times I actually got the slave cylinder into the bell housing here. And then, can't really see it. There you go. So this inspection hole right here, you can check where your rod from your slave cylinder is. And it had a plastic band on it, so the first time you push it, it breaks that band. But right there, it is in the end of the fork like it should be. And that means that it should push the throwout bearing like it's supposed to. So I'll get some nuts put on that thing and then get back up there for the misery end of tying down this line. Lucky me, I dropped my 13mm wrench down here when I was up on the top, so that's ready. So again, we'll just go tight here. Take it easy on the goodin'. Now I've got it tight. I was watching through the inspection hole here. The rod is in the end of the fork. It actually pushed into it a little bit as I tightened it up. So we'll go ahead and put the plug back in this inspection hole. Now that'll keep all of the getting dirty out of it. And so let's go wrap around the engine again. I'll put those clamps back on. I could easily decide not to. I'm sure many different times it has been decided not to. But I like to keep things the way they're supposed to be, or they were, even if they're an engineering nightmare because you can get a lot of movement in this line, and the last thing we want to do is rub a hole in it and replace it again. So let's do that. Okay, now we're doing the best part of the whole job. Putting these clamps back on the hydraulic line. Make sure that they fit down inside of the clamp where they should be, so you're not pinching the line as you put them back on. I've already got the one side done. So now we'll move over to this other guy. And then we'll put this nut on. These are locking nuts, so inevitably you're going to twist the wrench 38,000 times just to get it tight. Always keep an extra wrench of the same size. They're 13 millimeter. Half inch will get you. Always keep an extra one up here because 10 times out of 10 you're going to drop one of them. I like to call this the praying position. You're all hunched over, head down. I usually start my praying with, as I take them off, that the bell housing bolt isn't stuck to it and turning as well. That's a good time. Today was my lucky day. I must have prayed properly because they both came off fairly simple. Only dropped one wrench taking it off. Now I'd get the camera in here and show you what I'm doing, but we all know that nobody can see that. Now you got the wiring loom that attaches to these two studs. The one side's got the vent tube for the transmission that attaches to it. And then this hydraulic line. I always make sure the hydraulic line is on the outside. So if you have to do this, you don't have to fight the wiring loom clamp. You can just take these off, get the hydraulic line out of there, and with any kind of luck, have a decent day. Okay, that's tight. I've taken it easy on the gooden today. That way next time I'm not fighting everything. And then just this one last little clamp over here that was just pushed onto this bolt in the firewall. So now the only thing left is the rod from the pedal into the master cylinder. Sneak that in there. Just like that. And then just goes in. Push that there. That just broke the plastic strap on the slave cylinder, pushed on the fork for the clutch. And that is it. So that's the new hydraulic clutch system installed, ready to go. So that's it for today, messing around with the Red 92. It still needs a fuel pump. I don't know if I'll ever get to that. You'll just have to stick around and find out. But that's all I'm gonna do for today. Probably should go get some work done from home, of course. Check back with us. That's gonna do it for this Red 92. So gonna get a drug out of the shop. Got too many other things going on. We'll come back to it though. So thanks for watching us. Hit that like, leave me a comment, subscribe. When you subscribe, get them notifications. I'll be there every Monday morning. So for now, we'll see you in the next one.